Hi, in this video I'm going to show the proper threading of a Florence curved needle sewing machine. This particular machine is what I refer to as my See and Sew Florence. It was an orphan treadle head that's missing the treadle base, and I have mounted it and adapted it to be a portable, so it works really well for this situation. I'm going to start out with the bobbin, and the bobbin on this particular machine is uneven at the ends. It actually has one end of the spindle is a little bit longer than the other. So when you thread the bobbin and you wind it, you want to make sure that with the longer shaft coming off to the right, that this bobbin is wound where the thread comes off over the top, if that can be seen. When you go to load the shuttle, you're going to drop the bobbin in with the longer tip into the base, and then the thread will come off properly. In this particular shuttle, there's a small hole in the back. Some of the later shuttles actually just have a little curve out here instead of the hole. There's just a little indentation. What that hole does is allows you to pass the thread from the inside of the shuttle to the outside with this flap door open. When you pull the thread through, you'll then close the flap and pass that same thread back through the same hole to bring it up on this side. All that does is allow the thread now to pass along the curve spring on the shuttle, and that was the sole reason that they put that little hole there, and that's why it went away after a while. The flap needs to be opened up again, and then the thread goes from the top to the bottom on that little hole. Oops. And then it comes from the hole on the shuttle from the inside out. And the door's closed again. And pull the thread, and then now the thread will pass nicely over that flat spring as it uncomes. When you go to load the shuttle in the machine, the thread coming out the top, the hole will be here at the top, and it lays in the machine as such. Normally you'll have a slide plate here that'll allow access to that shuttle. Push it down until it snaps into place. Oops. This little bar allows the ease of placing the shuttle or removing the shuttle so that it's snapped securely in place. So the shuttle is done. Turn this around so we can access the back and see the proper threading. Most machines mounted in a treadle will have some type of spool pin mounted on the side, such as this. It's located a little far from the machine, but it works wonderfully. It's going to come across, and the thread is going to come through the thread guide right here, and you pull it through. This is going to pass down around the tension wheel, and in this case I wrap it twice because this tension wheel has lost its rubber securing it on the inside and actually has been replaced with a thin film of Elmer's glue, which gives it just enough traction to be able to function properly as a tension disc. Then the thread will come up between the opening here and brought down, and between that little opening is a very teeny guide down here that is hidden but can be seen below my finger there. It needs to go under that guide and then come up through these thread guides along the top. Once it's passed along the thread guides, then it gets a little tricky. You need to raise the needle up out of the way as completely as you can, and then it threads from this side through the back. Now, just to make things more interesting, this particular machine is an earlier model from 1866, which means that the needle bar is here and the presser foot is here. In approximately 1870, they switched these and they moved the presser bar to the back and the needle bar comes to the front, and the presser foot actually faces the direction of the action. So in the meantime, we make do. And my See-and-Sew Florence is so named because it did not have a metal cloth plate like most of the machines do. So in the meantime, I had to make do, and I did so with a piece of cut plexiglass. It works wonderfully, and you can watch it as it sews along. I'm going to go ahead and drop the needle and pull up the bobbin thread. And this works as any other lock stitch machine would. Pull out a little extra bobbin thread, and I'm going to show a few little things about this particular machine. When sewing, this machine actually sews in reverse as well, in addition to forward. Lower the presser foot. When this knob is turned all the way to the back, over the top, clockwise as far as it can go, this machine will sew forward and make a nice forward stitch. When this knob is turned all the way to the back, this direction, over the top to the back, then this machine will then sew in reverse, with the handle moving exactly the same direction. This I'm using as a hand wheel. This would work for a treadle, but it always moves over and away. So it's going to move over and away. The treadle belt would attach here and move this in the same direction. But it's nice that this has a little spoke out here and fashion this little wheel, and now this wheel works wonderfully for turning. And again, we're moving in forward direction. This hand wheel will always move in the same direction. The wheel will always move in the same direction. The adjustment is made up here. Underneath this adjustment for forward and reverse is also a way to lock the stitch length if you wish. You can tighten this in any position and it will actually prevent this from moving, so your stitch length will essentially stay the same the entire time you're stitching. This stitch length adjustment also allows you to freeze, and in the absolute middle position this will go up and down and not move. So you can adjust that as well. In some of the earlier models of this machine, there's a lever located on this particular back part here, and in turning this lever it actually creates a double knock and a double knot stitch by making this needle bar dip twice in the same position before advancing the fabric. So that is the basics on sewing with the Florence curved needle machine.